Hello, welcome to the first episode of my podcast, The Quiet Gardener. Oh man. So yeah, The Quiet Gardener. So I don't have any experience in podcasting. This is my first effort at it, so you'll have to bear with me. I don't even have a script for today other than I wanted to talk about the rationale behind this podcast and what I hope to accomplish with it. So, for the 5 of you who know me, I have a YouTube channel that I've had for maybe 3-4 years. It's been a little bit of time now, but it's a gardening channel and it's called Garden to Table with Rose. And so usually that's focused on garden to table. So meaning uh, me growing food and flowers and me cooking because I am a trained professional cook. And so that's kind of where I spent most of my time when it comes to social media. I like to cook. I like to garden. I like to create beautiful dishes and things of that nature. I like to feed people and take care of people. So that's the perspective that I've come from. What's happened most recently is that as I've gotten older here, I am 53 right now. So uh, I had my youngest kid just leave the house recently, so I am an empty nester. And my kids are doing fantastically. They're doing the things that young people do. Um, but I have been thinking more about giving something back to the community, giving something back to particularly younger generations of women, girls. And so I am hoping that with my age and wisdom and experiences, that I will be able to impart something of value to young women. I will say that I am someone who has traditional values and see things from that lens. I'm also a Christian, i.e., Catholic, which we are Christians, for those of you who don't seem to understand that. But yeah, so I'm a Catholic Christian, and much of my worldview is based upon obviously my spiritual beliefs and my morals and values. And so, what I have seen is that younger generations, a lot of times, don't necessarily have those role models that teach traditional values or that teach things that hold weight, that are of substance in this world, on this earth. And so hopefully I can impart some of that just by sharing my experiences. My goal is not to be preachy and tell people what they should and should not do. Everybody's going to do whatever they want to do. But my goal is to lead by example, meaning share the experiences and the things that I had to go through as a younger woman, and my reflections on it now as an older woman, and hopefully um, prevent somebody, maybe one, maybe two people, from having to go through things the hard way. And maybe through my experiences, you can glean something that might help you to navigate through this modern era and the expectations that come with it. And so the title of the podcast is The Quiet Gardener, and the reason why is because I am a gardener, and generally speaking, I'm fairly quiet in terms of my presence on social media. I mean, I put out videos, I post on the different platforms, but because I am conservative, because I am traditional, and I'm not in your face. I think, comes across as quiet and comes across as more subtle than some of the other people who are vying for attention. And that's okay with me. I am perfectly happy with being the quiet gardener. But in terms of how this podcast is going to work, I think what I want to do is try to keep, obviously, the episodes fairly short. Nobody wants to listen to me go on and on. But I'm going to try to do 20 minutes or less because that has worked for me with my YouTube channel and my gardening videos in terms of keeping things to 20 minutes or less. So I'm going to try to do that with the podcast. Down the road, I may have a co-host. That was my initial idea. I've talked to at least one person who I think would who's also, kind of in the same age bracket as I am and has had similar life experiences. So I think she would be a good co-host for us to answer and discuss and debate, kind of different topics. But she's still deciding what she wants to do. So I don't know if ultimately I will have a co-host or not. But I'm the type that once I get an idea and something I want to do, then I go for it. I go for it. So whether somebody else is with me or not, I'm gonna start it. I'm gonna do it. So that's where I'm recording this first episode because I decided I wanted to do the podcast, and here I am doing the podcast. So what's on my mind? And like I said, this I don't necessarily have a script. I have found even when I was doing YouTube videos or when I do YouTube videos that scripts for me are very difficult. It makes me feel like it's canned, like it's prepared. And so I don't feel like it's as authentic as when I just talk. And I'm a talker. I can talk and talk and talk. And so I tend to just kind of have a theme of something I want to discuss. And then I just go from there and wing it. And whatever kind of comes of that comes of that. Maybe I'll refine that down the road and decide I should do some kind of script. But right now, I don't have one. So, what I am going to discuss today quickly, because again, I want to keep these 20 minutes or less. I don't want them to be too long. So, quick kind of snippet of what's going on in our world today and kind of how I view it. So, one of the things that I posted about today on my Facebook page is Halle Berry. Everybody knows who Halle Berry is. I mean, she's a beautiful woman. She's almost 60, I think, year old woman, actress, whatever, that has been around for a while. And she's beautiful, stunning. And a lot of people may say, a lot of outlets may say she's one of the most beautiful women in the world. And I agree, she is beautiful. But her Facebook page came to my attention because someone else posted about her um, dancing around in a bikini on her page, and that how this was inappropriate for a woman of her age. And so I looked at her page, which I don't follow celebrities. I could care less what celebrities are doing. They don't make or break my day. But I know a lot of young people do. A lot of young people follow them and emulate what they do. And she is an icon to a certain extent. So I imagine a lot of young people look to her for guidance of how to age gracefully, quote unquote. So I went and looked at her page and I was shocked because the majority of the videos that were posted there were of her in a bikini dancing around. And yeah. So I was like, okay, this is an almost 60-year-old woman who's been married, I don't know how many times, umpteen times. She's had a number of partners. She's allegedly in a serious committed relationship now. But she's gyrating around in a bikini. And I was like, what in the actual world? Why is this here? And not because she doesn't have the body to do it. I mean, come on now. As a mature woman, lots of us have the body. If we take care of ourselves, I have the body. I am fit. I am in great shape. Let me tell you, I probably have a better body than I did when I was in my 20s because I actually do resistance training and work out and all of that stuff now that I didn't do when I was young. Um, but I would never, never, ever, ever be caught in a bikini gyrating around on a video for anybody to see other than my husband if I were married, and I am not married. Um, so I couldn't wrap my head around what the point of this was. And she's dancing in the video. And then at the end of the video, that wasn't the worst part. That was bad enough. She's gyrating around in this bikini. And then at the end of the video, bottom of the bikini comes loose. So the ties magically untie themselves and the bikini starts to fall off of her. And she continues to dance and hold the bikini and oh my god, I can't believe it's falling down and kind of pulls it up and does this, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed kind of deal. But mind you, she's still being filmed and she still published the video with that part in it. So that was all staged. It was like Janet Jackson and the wardrobe malfunction at the Super Bowl, right? Come on now. And apparently it was her significant other, her partner that was filming this, which we could go into a whole discussion about that. What kind of man is okay with his woman, wife, spouse gyrating around half nude in a video to be posted for millions of people to gawk at, which will be mostly men. 'Cause who else is looking at half naked women? Um, so yeah, I just something about that was unsettling to me. One, because of her position. Okay, so she's in a position where you have a responsibility. You have a responsibility to younger generations, younger people, to be a model that they can emulate because that's how they're looking at you. They're not just looking at you as Catwoman or whatever other roles she's played, but they're looking at you as this beautiful celebrity who is an older woman who allegedly has aged gracefully and that they can emulate. So to me, with notoriety and success comes profound responsibility. And I found it egregious that she thought that that is what she needed to do in her videos. You know, when you post videos like that where they are solely focused on your physique or your physical attributes, it's screaming, look at me, look at me, look at me. I want attention. And this is what I have to garner attention. This is how I gain a sense of value or worthwhileness is by showing you my goodies. And unfortunately, that's very sad. It's like, really? At 50, whatever years old, 57, 50, however old she is, I don't know how old she is. But if that's what you have to offer the world, that's what you have to show to say, I'm significant. Like, really? Oh, now you're not 19. This woman's old enough to be somebody's grandmama. So, yeah, I found that off-putting. And it's not just about Halle Berry, it's about anybody of that age bracket that thinks this is what you need to do to be relevant in this day of age. This is what you need to put out there to show that you're worthwhile, you're sexy, you're valuable, whatever title you want to use. It's absolutely ridiculous to me. And so, as a mature and wise woman, you should have learned at this point that your value is much deeper than superficial beauty. Your value is based upon your character, it's based upon your morals, it's based upon how you conduct yourself in this world, it's based upon the example you set for younger generations, for the people who will emulate you. Your example is how good of a mother, how good of a partner or a wife, how good of a friend you can or have been to people. Now, why not put that on a video? Now, why not show a picture of you parenting your children, or a picture of you being a friend, or a picture of you imparting some wisdom to younger women, as opposed to you dancing around in a bikini for all the world to see, which is no different than a 19-year-old, 25-year-old, a Kardashian, any other person who wants attention, and OnlyFans girl. Like, what separates you from the rest? Now, all that. I will say for all of you who want to talk crap, don't come over here because I'm not about it. It's not a matter of envy. I don't envy anything superficial or anything like that. That's not what I'm about. I am about character and substance and faith. Um, so yeah, so that was just the latest thing that came up on social media that I just was like taken aback by. I was just shocked. And I'm like, wow. I think about all the young women who are out there looking to celebrities as their models because a lot of young women, unfortunately, don't have solid parental figures to look at. They don't have intact families in terms of having a two-parent household. They have maybe mothers who are also a bit skewed, who instead of being an exemplary example of what womanhood is, might be in competition with them, or who might be, whoring around themselves. And so, a lot of young girls today just don't have women that they see that are examples of, wow, this is what a mature, responsible woman of substance looks like. And so I am hoping through this podcast, I can shine some light on some things. And like I said, it's all through my own lens and my own experiences. A lot of the mistakes that I've made when I was much younger, not having had an intact family, not being raised by parents, uh, not having any models and kind of having to figure things out on my own as I matured and went through life. Not having a Christian upbringing and having to come to Christ and discover Christ on my own at a later age, which has now really shaped who I am as a woman. So I'm hoping all of that through my experience, and I will share a lot of my mistakes. I'm not here to just like preach, you should do this, and I'm a Christian, and I said so. No, it's like I made all the mistakes. I've done all the things. Now I'm here at a different point of maturity and wisdom. And so I think hopefully if you are the type of person that can hear something, hear somebody's experience and learn from that, you maybe can avoid some pitfalls. Now, the other thing I want to say about me in general, just my a little background about me, I am living in the Midwest. So I am in Kalamazoo, Michigan. I am from Detroit. And that is where I grew up, but now I'm on the west side of the state. And I am a clinical psychologist by trade. I have a doctorate, a PhD in clinical psychology. I am not here as a therapist or to give you any kind of medical or professional advice. I do that as my day job. I am just here as an interest, my own personal passion, my own personal hobby. That is why I'm here. But my background does, have some educational bearing there. I'm not just a Yahoo out there spouting whatever. I have been a clinical psychologist for about 25 years. So I do know some things. I do have some experience. I do have a good head on my shoulders. But more importantly, I have an amazing relationship with Christ. And I have traditional values, biblical values that I take with me as I go out in this secular world. And if you are in the world, you would know that more and more it's become very secular, very much about whatever one wants, however one wants to do things. We, you know, kind of are out there, people just doing whatever they feel like, however they want, whenever they want, whatever you see as right and fair in your eyes. And that is not biblical. That is not what the scripture says. You don't just go out there and do things willy-nilly. There is there's a framework, there's guidance in terms of how you're supposed to live your life. And so I do try to live my life according to scripture and according to my belief system. And I'm not saying that everybody has to, but out of that belief system has come, I think, some very solid values and beliefs that anybody, I think, can use to guide them through this life and guide them through dealing with secularism. And you don't have to be a Christian, you don't have to be into any of that to lead to live your life by a certain set of principles. Okay? So that is all I have to say today because I've reached my 20-minute mark. And so that's all for episode 1. So we'll continue on next time. I plan to try to put out 1 episode a week, and see how that goes. And like I said, down the road, I may end up with a co-host. I may not. It may just be me. It may just be me talking about stuff that comes up on social media or in the news, or just stuff that strikes my fancy, or particular scripture readings, or just whatever. But the whole point of this podcast is to hopefully impart some wisdom as a old girl, a 50-some-year-old woman, to young women who are coming up and trying to figure out how they are supposed to conduct themselves, and how they're supposed to deal with relationships and life and careers and family and managing everything that we have to manage as women in this day and age. Okay? All right. So until next time, bye-bye.